good morning, or afternoon, depending on when you're watching this video. We are at another Make It Monday, and I'm wearing the same outfit as I was for the video about dishwasher tabs because I'm recording these on the same day. So enjoy this shirt twice, and this hair and this face. That's all you're gonna get. I'm gonna today be talking about how to make kombucha, and I thought I'd just make it in front of you so that you can learn how simple it is and rewarding, because kombucha is kind of a crazy expensive drink to buy at the store, like $4 for a bottle about like this, 4 or 5. And it's super beneficial for your body, tastes great, and it's a wonderful alternative. We love it at our house as an alternative to pop, because no offense to pop, but my children are never gonna know what it is. It's not true. They've had it, but we keep it like, it's like a dangerous food. It's like food coloring around here. We're basically allergic. There's a couple reasons for that. My oldest has ADHD and a developmental disability and fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. So her little brain cannot handle stimulus the way that a regularly developed brain can. And my son has ADD as well. And so when we add food coloring or sugar that goes straight to the veins in liquid form, we find that we get really, really tragic results, like goodbye whole day because we can't cope with our behaviors. We have to just buckle down at home and get through. It sounds dramatic, but it's the truth. And that is one of the reasons that I was inspired to make kombucha. Now, I thought kombucha was gross the first time I tried it because it tasted like rotten to me. So my goal in learning to make kombucha was to see if it could be made to taste like a delicious sparkling beverage as opposed to like a bottle of rotten. If you like the rotten taste, I'm sorry if I'm offending you. I just think it doesn't need to taste that way. So here's what we're doing. We're making tea. We're adding a SCOBY to it. SCOBY is like the mother that you sometimes find floating in your vinegar, and it stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast, SCOBY, S-C-O-B-Y. That cool entity of bacteria and yeast is going to consume the caffeine in the tea and the sugar that we're gonna add, which I'm gonna show you in a minute, and it is going to eat most of that and turn it into bubbles, basically. So CO2, which is what we put in our water for bubbly water and what they put in pop. And so it tastes really wonderful, but it's naturally occurring, so you get a very fine bubble as opposed to a big bubble. And so you get this lovely sparkling beverage, and you can flavor it any way you like. The straight tea flavor is yummy, but you can make it even more interesting by adding other things to it. So we'll talk about that a bit as well. I'm just waiting for my water to boil, so in the meantime I'll show you what the tools of the trade are. This is a gallon jar. It might remind you of a giant pickle jar, and that is exactly what these are traditionally used for. You can usually find them, well, you can sometimes find them at thrift stores, or you can order them, or you can buy them from kitchen supply places. I got this one, I think I got this at a thrift shop. They're not expensive though, and they shouldn't be. They come with a lid, but we're not going to use the lid because we want oxygen to get into our jar. And then there's 2 more really important ingredients that we need. Tea bags. I've got 7 tea bags for this gallon. They're just regular black tea bags, and I pulled the paper tabs off of them so that that's not soaking in my tea. And then I have some regular old white sugar, granulated white sugar, super fancy ingredient. You're gonna see how affordable it is in a minute here to make your own kombucha. I'm gonna pour 1 cup of sugar. Now, once the SCOBY does its work, about 1/3 of the caffeine might remain and about 1/3 or less of the sugar, depending on how long you brew or ferment. This is a lot like making beer. How long you let this kombucha sit, it will consume more and more of those things. So a very long brew on your kombucha means less and less sugar and caffeine remain in it. And that's a good thing because we don't want our kids consuming a lot of those things. We want them to be enjoying the beverage but not getting caffeine and sugar, obviously. Although, here's something interesting. The caffeine that remains is actually not so challenging for the body to deal with because L-theanine is also present in this drink, naturally occurring, and it is an amino acid that helps slow down the uptake of caffeine into your body. So similar to like green tea, there's some beneficial things that are gonna coexist in this tea that are gonna make the caffeine really not have a negative impact on us. So where you wouldn't want your kids to regularly be consuming large quantities of caffeine, this tea is really not a concern. My water's boiling, I'm gonna turn it off. And we want to put our ingredients into this jar. The nice thing about these glass jars is they are heat proof. I don't pour the totally boiling water in, I just give it a second to sit. I just spilled, obviously, because I'm Katie. And then I'm gonna put my tea bags in. This is a really fancy process. And this is my stirring stick. Ryan made this for me at some point. I don't know why, but it's really useful. And I just need a hot mitt. So I've got my boiling kettle water, and I've got my tea bags, and I'm just gonna pour the hot water to about 1/3 of the way up. This is gonna be steeping for about 10 minutes. And it's also simultaneously gonna thaw my sugar. I mean, not thaw, melt. Melt my sugar, which is great because I don't want the sugar to be granulated still. I want it to be totally dissolved into this tea base. Once this has cooled and steeped, not cooled fully, but steeped and started to cool, I am going to top it up to about here with cold water. And we can do that together in just a minute. I'll try not to make this video too long. I could always stop it and come back on. Do the old pause-a-roo. So we'll just let that sit for a second and I'll talk to you about the flavors that I've done. You can use a variety of jars. You want sturdy glass jars for making kombucha. Here's 3 examples. This one had a sparkling drink in it that somebody brought over. This is the Ningxia juice that we drink as a vitamin energy boost for our everyday. And this is an actual kombucha bottle that I just saved and used again. The flavors that I've used are, in this one, Ningxia, which is that yummy superfruit juice. In this one, hibiscus. So you can see it's kind of got like a red color to it. And I just took hibiscus flowers and I turned them into a little syrup using some sugar and some hot water and a little bit of citrus. And they taste just lovely. So what you're gonna do is a double brew. This is how you get the delicious bubbles. So this first process is gonna take 10 days. And on the side of this jar, what's today? I'm gonna write today's date, January 22nd. It's my sister-in-law's birthday today. Happy birthday, Steph. So January 22nd, this is going into the jar. And then in 10 days time, because right now the house is pretty much at a steady 74 degrees because it's winter, this will be ready for a second brew, at which time I will take my SCOBY out, drain this liquid through a sieve, and then pour it into jars and top up the last little bit of the jar with the flavor that I want this one to have. So for this, for example, this whole bottle is 750 mils, which would be a wine bottle. I added 1/4 cup of Ningxia red to this. For the hibiscus, same thing. And actually, this is an interesting one. I don't know if you can see it. See that floaty right there? That's a bit of SCOBY that's developing on the top. And that's okay. The kids think it's disgusting. So before you serve it to them, let me just open this. You just would go in there, let me see if I can get it out, and pull that out. Or you can do it when you pour the first cup of it. But anyways, they don't like that part. I don't know why. So you just pull the top off. It's just trying to make more SCOBY, which is a good sign because it means that it's working. These are in their second ferment. So I did this yesterday, and they're gonna sit at room temperature now for 2 days. After those 2 days, they will be ready to go into the fridge, and then they can stay in the fridge until we drink them. They can stay in the fridge for weeks and weeks. If you were making them commercially, you'd seal them, and then the same thing. So you're just preventing them from continuing to ferment. And they taste great. The kids love it. It's our treat drink, and you can do any flavor you want. I've done them with ginger and lime. That's really nice. You can make it with citrus. You can do fresh berries in the bottom of the bottle and just do that. The trick to the second brew is you really want to make sure you add something that has a bit of sugar again, because when you top it up with a little bit more sugar, it gives your kombucha the food it needs to create the bubbles in the bottle. If we don't seal it and we don't do the second brew, we don't get the really nice bubbles. So that's why it's a double brew process. I've discovered something else. A triple brew gets you the best bubbles ever. So here is what I've started doing, because I can't just be content with one simple thing. I take about 1/2 cup of the batch from before. So let's say I'm doing this, my third brew. I'll take 1/2 cup out of this bottle, And then I'm going to put it into the next batch along with my kombucha for the second brew. What happens then is I get the fermentation that's already happened here with the bubbly good CO2-ness, and it starts to get this next bottle going. That's just an experiment I'm working on, so I'll maybe come back and do a post on that to update you. So this is now almost ready to go. The last thing I'll do, so I'm gonna top this up with cold water to cool it, and once it's nice and cool, I'm gonna add my SCOBY. Let me show you this weirdo SCOBY. You can buy SCOBY online, they're like 30 bucks, or you can take a bottle of kombucha, dump it in, and let it start working that way. So here you go. Don't be frightened. This is what it is so weird looking. It's a bit white and a bit brown, and it's thick. It's really thick, like it's like a layer. I could take half of this and give it to a friend, and this one would just regrow. So once you have a healthy SCOBY going, you don't have to make another one. You just keep that living large and doing its work, and it's just so happy. And it's so weird looking, I know. This is why I didn't make kombucha for so long, because I was so sketched out. But I think you should do this, and I think you should try it. So start saving some bottles, or save your wine bottles that have a screw cap. You can use those. And when you're ready, you can watch this video again, and you need 7 tea bags and a cup of sugar, and you're ready to go. It's pretty straightforward. If you have a friend who's been making kombucha, ask them for one of their SCOBY babies, because like I said, you can divide and conquer with these. So you don't need to go buying one for 30 bucks. You can just sharing is caring. That's what I tell my kids. Make and take, no, not make and take, Make It Mondays. Once again, brought to you by Katie in the same shirt, and I hope you have a great day, and post your questions about this, because it is an exciting project to attempt, and I think it will benefit you. And the other thing I didn't mention, there's a lot of health benefits. Google that to kombucha, but one of them is it's full of probiotics, naturally occurring probiotics. So again, for your kiddos or yourself, for digestive health, it's a really great booster. Okay, talk to you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.